I got all the details around the Diablo 4 beta, which includes things like launch time, when you can pre-download, as well as all the different game modes and classes that'll be available during the beta period, and some other further details including a promotion that's going on right now. What's up, Warriors? We're back with another video and covering all things Diablo 4 beta. Okay, so let's first cover the pre-download and launch times. As of right now, and when this video releases, you'll be able to pre-download on every single system, including PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Now, the beta will be available on PC, Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One, PlayStation 5, and PlayStation 4. Now, as far as the launch times go for open beta and the early access, for early access specifically, it will be March 17th at 9 a.m. PDT, which will then conclude on March 20th at 12 p.m. PDT. And then the open beta will have a bit of a lax period where it doesn't begin until March 24th at 9 a.m. PDT, and then it will conclude at March 27th at 12 p.m. PDT. Now, as far as the classes go, you'll be able to select the first 3 classes that will come out with the early access, and that includes the Barbarian, the Rogue, and the Sorcerer. However, once the open beta period does open up, there's going to be 2 more classes that you'll be able to play, which are Druid and Necromancer. Now, you'll have a maximum of 10 characters, although I assume that you probably won't have that many during the beta period. And it seems like level 25 is going to be the max level that any character can achieve. And obviously they strongly recommend that if once you reach level 25, you should go back and play another class just to see and feel other classes and see how they play. And it's also good to note that after the beta period ends, your character will be deleted. So there's no type of crossover period some games like to have, or during a beta period, when I think Fallout 76 did it this way, where whatever you leveled or whatever you did during the beta period, then during the launch period, that all that stuff carried over. I think there was a level cap of like 15. However, with this beta, particular character won't be carried over, and that's probably due in part because the beta is so far away from the actual release date, whereas most of the time when those things happen, usually the beta is right next to, it's more of like a demo really, is right next to the actual release. Now, the good news is there actually will be couch co-op, and this actually means that you only need 1 copy of the beta to play the game. So both of you will be able to play on the basically one game copy. However, the second person will need to make a Battle.net account and have console-specific accounts linked. But there will also be 4-player online co-op, and that will be 4 players, so that's also good to hear that they're going to have fully fledged co-op happening and all the multiplayer works and all the gimmick stuff working in the beta. Now, there is some imagery here, and they did want to note a few things that you can do within the game, or at least a lot of the activities that you'll be able to access. And first up is the main area, which seems to be like a safe zone area, and I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, but it's Kayovishad. And this area will allow you to repair and purchase new gear, upgrade your health potions, access the stash, and much more. They said to think of the city as your base of operation between excursions into the frigid expanse of the zone. In a sense, it's kind of like a sanctuary, and you will get this after you complete the prologue, which after completing the prologue will allow you to have the open world completely open and allow you to explore it, basically being able to go off in your free will. A lot of games have this prologue period, and it's no exception for this game as well. Now, they said the main questline overall consists of multiple acts, but there's also side quests that will be available in the beta. And 2 notable ones are Woodsman of the Nevesk and Altars of Lilith. And they said the first one, if you find yourself slaying demons near the town of Nevesk, check out the Woodsman quest. And for the Altars of Lilith, it was created by her first children, and there's altars spread throughout the sanctuary. Finding them provides a permanent bonus to core stats of all characters on the Eternal Realm. And on top of the main quests and side quests, there's also world events, which will be accessible in the beta. And they said there's small experiences, they're nothing crazy, so I would imagine something like what World of Warcraft has, or even like Destiny 2 world events, but not the major ones, just like the smaller ones. And these world events will consist of escorting a lost soul to its loved one, or to satiate the hunger of bloodthirsty obelisks. They said this can be completed in a couple of minutes, and they're completely optional, but that you'll be generously rewarded if you do them. And they said there's many more to discover during the open beta, which hopefully that means that they're in the closed beta as well. They didn't really phrase that, so maybe they mean that there's a lot more in the open beta, or that they're only in the open beta. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, the next thing here is they said in contrast, Legion events are longer experiences meant to challenge you. Ensure you are prepared to overcome hordes of demons before entering them, and if you are able, take them on with the aid of other players. These events will usually be marked on your map, but sometimes revealed after conquering a stronghold. With risk comes reward. Complete a Legion event, you'll be rewarded handsomely for prevailing. These events are optional and can be completed more than once. So obviously these are a lot harder than the world events, and it will be interesting to see, especially if it's only revealed after conquering a stronghold, so there's something even more there to unveil that. We'll have to see if the rewards are really worth the risk there. I'm hoping there's something like the mass Skull Fort events and Sea of Thieves and stuff of that nature. or just like a big world event. I guess World of Warcraft does world events kind of like more simplistic. Never been challenged in a world event for World of Warcraft, so I'm not sure if these compare to that or if they're a little bit different or more challenging. Now, of course, there's also going to be dungeons, but it's good to know that the dungeons will be in the beta. And again, it doesn't mention the closed or early access beta, it only mentions the open beta, so I'm going to assume they're just using this as a generic term. And it said that the beta has no shortage of them to explore. The dungeons and the recommended level to complete are displayed on your map, so there's no confusions there. But it is good to know that these will be in the beta and seemingly fully fledged and be able to be experienced. Now, there's also world bosses in this beta, which I assumed there was going to be for the full game, but it's, again, good to know that these will be in the beta for testing. And the first world boss they listed was Ashava, and apparently this world boss is going to be pretty difficult. And it even says it is thought that one wanderer alone cannot bring this beast to its knees, meaning you'll need a lot of people to take down this boss. Now, this world boss specifically will only be available during certain times, and those times are as follows. For the early access, they're available at March 18th at 10 a.m., 12 p.m., 10 p.m., and midnight PDT. Now, for the open beta period, that's going to be March 25th at 10 a.m., 12 p.m., 10 p.m., and midnight PDT. So essentially the same times, however, these look like a day after. March 24th is the release of the open beta, so they're giving you a day to kind of prepare for the world boss. Same thing as the early access period, March 17th to the 18th. Now, there's also some really cool stuff here because this beta will also get you some permanent rewards. And the first reward you'll get is a title, and you'll get that by reaching the city Kyovisha. The second is another title, and you'll get that for reaching level 20, and that's the early Voyager title, and the first one was the initial casualty title. But there is also another cosmetic, and that's a beta Wolfpack cosmetic, and there is a little gif here showing off what it kind of is, and it's kind of cool. It's got a little animation to it. And again, you get that by reaching level 20 on one character. It's the same as the previous one, so maybe that's a misspell or a mistake on that. But who knows, maybe you get 2 rewards for doing the one thing. Now, they did release the PC specs needed to play this thing, and it seems like it's going to be fairly easy to run. A 280, R9 280 for the minimum specs, a GTX 660, and then for the recommended specs, it's a 970. Again, this is at 60 FPS, so they're already lowering the bar pretty much. It basically is saying that this can run on basically any current hardware, and even much older hardware as well. Now, some people through the Battle.net launcher were having a bit of difficulty, so I'm going to have an image here that showcases kind of how to access the beta and at least get it installed and preloaded. I also want to make one last note here, and that is if you buy an item from KFC that is specific to the promotion, you will get early access to the Diablo 4 beta without having to pre-purchase the game. So this is kind of a nice method where it's a cheaper method. You don't have to like look for codes on eBay or whatever you want to do, and you don't have to pre-purchase the game for the full amount so you can actually access the game. And I just want to mention the cheapest sandwich there is around $3, so it's not a big deal. And you do have to order that online because it needs to have your email to where they can send the code to. I'll have all the links down below in the description for that. There's also going to be a community play live stream on March 24th at 11 a.m. PDT, so be sure to check that out possibly. Could be good, and they might answer some useful questions. But that is about cover for this video, and I hope you enjoyed, and if you like it, I'll like and subscribe, and until the next one, deuce.